David Bowie was an influential musician and cultural icon who pushed boundaries both with his music and his persona, challenging traditional gender roles and expectations. Throughout his career, he experimented with various styles and identities, often blurring the lines between male and female. One of Bowie's most famous and groundbreaking personas was Ziggy Stardust, an androgynous and flamboyant rock star from outer space. Through Ziggy, Bowie challenged traditional gender norms and presented a new vision of what it meant to be a rock star. He also explored gender and sexuality through his music and lyrics. In Rebel Rebel, for example, he sings, "You've got your mother in a whirl. She's not sure if you're a boy or a girl." Lady Stardust was written as an ode to friend Mark Bolan, lead singer of the band T-Rex. The song seems inspired by Bolan's androgynous appearance on and off stage. The lyrics describe a glittering, enigmatic character named Lady Stardust, who captivates audiences with her otherworldly beauty and charisma. Here's 10 gender-bending musicians and musical moments. Hey, if I missed any, please put them in the comments below. And if you like this video, please click like and subscribe. It's a big help, man. Annie Lennox is a musician and activist who has long been an advocate for gender equality and ally of LGBT community. Throughout her career, she's challenged gender norms and stereotypes through her music, fashion, and public statements. One of Annie Lennox's most iconic and memorable moments in regards to gender came during her performance at the 1984 Grammy Awards. She appeared on stage wearing a suit and tie with like a teddy boy hairdo, and performed the song "Sweet Dreams Are Made of This" with the band The Eurythmics. The performance made a bold statement about traditional gender roles, and it helped cement Lennox's status as a trailblazer in music and fashion. Little Richard was a pioneering rock and roll musician who rose to fame in the 1950s. He was known for his flamboyant stage presence, his high-pitched voice, and his outrageous outfits, which often included makeup and gender-bending clothing. Richard's music and performances challenged traditional gender norms at a time when they were much more rigid than they are today. His androgynous appearance, which included makeup, flamboyant hairstyles, and tight-fitting clothes, was seen as provocative and controversial. Richard's music also challenged gender norms. He sang about sexuality and desire in a way that was bold and explicit for the time. Richard's influence on the music industry can't be overstated. His unique style and sound helped to shape the early days of rock and roll, and he set an example for musicians to follow. Alice Cooper is an American musician, singer, and songwriter who's known for his theatrical and often controversial stage performances. Cooper is often associated with the shock rock genre, and his performances include elements of horror, macabre, and satire. Alice Cooper's stage persona and performances often do blur traditional gender lines. He goes by the name Alice, for one thing, and he's known for wearing makeup and dressing in androgynous or feminist clothing at times, which has caused some to question his gender identity. However, Cooper has stated in interviews that his stage persona is separate from his personal life, and he does identify as male. Alice Cooper's approach to gender and sexuality challenged traditional norms and pushed boundaries. This has been a recurring theme in his career. Prince was a highly influential musician and performer who was known for his androgynous appearance, provocative lyrics, and sexually charged performances. He challenged gender roles and stereotypes through his music, his style, and his overall persona. Throughout his career, Prince often played with gender and sexuality. He frequently wore flamboyant clothing such as high heels, tight pants, and ruffled shirts. He also experimented with makeup, and he wore his hair in styles that defied traditional gender norms. Prince's music often contained themes of sexual fluidity and desire that challenged societal expectations. He sang about sex and love in a way that was often explicit and daring, and he frequently used gender-neutral language in his lyrics. In Prince's song "I Would Die For You," he says, "I'm not a woman, I'm not a man, I am something that you'll never understand." And in the song "Controversy," he says, "Am I black or white? Am I straight? Okay." Prince's willingness to push boundaries around gender and sexuality helped open doors for future generations of musicians and fans. His influence on the music industry and pop culture can't be overstated. Queen had a flamboyant and theatrical stage presence that often included gender-bent elements. Freddie Mercury was known for flamboyant costumes, makeup, and an androgynous appearance which challenged traditional norms of the time. Queen's music also contained some themes of sexual fluidity. In fact, the "I Wanna Break Free" music video had the band members dressed in drag. While Freddie Mercury's sexuality wasn't publicly acknowledged until after his death, his flamboyant stage presence and music have become a symbol of acceptance and celebration of queer identities. Patti Smith's Horses album cover had her wearing the traditional men's uniform of a suit and tie and owning it. The cover photo by Annie Leibovitz is iconic. Smith explored the themes of gender openly in her work, saying she detached her female identity from her identity as an artist. Patti didn't give in to pressures to identify with certain social roles because of her gender. This allowed her to freely express herself in her work, and she flows from gender to gender throughout her poetry and her music. Lou Reed's 1972 hit Walk on the Wild Side was populated with trans and queer people from his life. Holly is based on Holly Woodlawn, a transgender actress. Candy is based on Candy Darling, who hung out at Max's Kansas City. She's also the subject of Lou Reed's Velvet Underground song Candy Says. Little Joe refers to Joe D'Alessandro, the gay sex symbol and bi actor who starred in Warhol's Flesh and later appeared as the crotch bulge on the Sticky Fingers album cover and on the Smiths' first album cover. The stories told here were often not told in pop songs, and they were groundbreaking and risque. But Walk on the Wild Side was a worldwide hit among all kinds of communities. Lou Reed went on to date a trans woman a few years later. Frank-N-Furter is the central character from Rocky Horror Picture Show. In both theatrical and cinematic productions of Rocky Horror since 1973 to this day, Frank-N-Furter is a mad scientist bent on creating the ultimate Frankenlover. He's from Transylvania and is portrayed by Tim Curry as an incredibly charming psychopath with an amazing ability to belt out a rock number while striding around in high heels, a corset, and a red Dracula cape. Screenings and hybrid stage productions of Rocky Horror brought the musical to hip enclaves around the world as fans shared in this glorious and hilarious romp. But the 1990 VHS release would have an even greater impact, as fans around the world in all places could now rent the movie with friends and experience the film and Frank-N-Furter wherever they lived, and partake in the campy joy of Tim Curry's iconic performance. RuPaul is a highly influential drag performer, musician, and actor who has made significant contributions to LGBT representation and visibility in popular culture. RuPaul's success as a drag performer and entertainer brought drag culture into the mainstream. Through appearances on TV, music, and films, he has helped to increase visibility and awareness of drag culture across the world. RuPaul's drag persona challenges traditional gender norms and expectations. His performances blur the lines between masculine and feminine identities, often incorporating elements of both. RuPaul has inspired a new generation of performers and allies. His influence can be seen in the growing popularity of drag culture and the increasing acceptance of non-binary and gender non-conforming identities. Hey, if you dug this, check out this one about CBGBs. It was really pretty cool, and I talk about some pretty cool artists, including Jane County, who I should have talked about in this video, but didn't. But I'll talk about her in this one.